The feds call it the largest college admissions bribery case ever prosecuted by the Department of Justice. 33 parents across the country are accused of paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their kids into elite schools. 9 News reporter Sonia Gutierrez has been looking into this, and you found a Colorado connection, Sonia.
Yeah, I did, Kim. 2 families facing charges have Colorado connections. One family has a home in Aspen. The other family is from Miami, but claimed their daughter was taking classes at CU Boulder. So federal agents from Colorado confirmed to 9 Wants to Know that Marcia Abbott from Aspen was arrested in connection to all of this. Okay. Federal records accuse 50 suspects, mostly parents, of fraud, bribery to get their students into schools like Stanford, UCLA, and Yale. They're also accused of using fake test scores and fake athletic credentials. So they worked with a man named William Singer, the founder of a for-profit college prep business, and agents say that parents would make donations to Singer's group, and he would in turn bribe college officials, coaches, and test administrators. Gregory and Marcia Abbott, who have homes in New York and Aspen, are accused of hiring the company to have people correct wrong answers on their daughter's ACT and SAT scores. The other family with a Colorado connection lives in Florida. The indictment says that they falsely stated their daughter was taking classes at a number of schools, including CU Boulder, so she could transfer to the University of Southern California.
These parents are a catalog of wealth and privilege. They include, for example, CEOs of private and public companies, successful securities and real estate investors, 2 well-known actresses, a famous fashion designer, and the co-chairman of a global law firm.
Make no mistake, this is not a case where parents were acting in the best interests of their children. This is a case where they flaunted their wealth, sparing no expense, to cheat the system so they could set their children up for success with the best education money could buy, literally.
The indictment shows conversations between the parents and the company, hoping to get them into elite universities. Some of the calls have the parents admitting that their student got into these schools because of bribes to athletic departments. I'm putting all of the information on these 2 cases from Colorado on our website. Guys, it's definitely worth checking it out.